Okay, here's how you install an amplifier and a subwoofer in a. I have a 2017 Camry. This is an old RE amplifier. Let's go over to the engine bay. You're gonna first pick a spot to run the power cable. Usually it's red, and this one it's blue. It's the thicker wire. You're gonna run it from the positive of your battery terminal in through the firewall. It's the hardest spot to find a spot. I found one through that grommet. If you want to go straight across, I was able to get a flathead. Stick it. There was like a hole down there. I kind of screwed this up, but I'll explain it. I pushed that grommet through. Don't use a drill. You may screw up all of those electrical wires. So push something through first, then use a drill. There's your flathead sticking out. This part's going to take a lot of physical labor. You're going to need a long, and then route the power cable through the side there. There's your breaker. That connects the amplifier in the back. The dark gray is the ground. And here's your power cable. All you're going to need in front hanging out for now. It comes with some accessories. And look at that. It's got the end that clips on. Otherwise, you just cut and then attach one. But that one came with it attached. That's great. By Scar. This kit is... This may seem rudimentary, but you have to go through the firewall and get the longest metal tool you have and connect it to the power wire, shove it in. Don't do what I did and push the whole grommet through. That's fine. Maybe I have a little more engine noise and maybe I'm more fire vulnerable now, but you know what? It worked. It went through. Some people put it through the door jamb. They put it over the engine. There's eventually going to be a fire, a battery failure. There's videos like that on YouTube. I can't believe they're still up there, but they are. Go directly from the positive through a firewall grommet, avoiding the engine, the exhaust, and any door jamb, please. Push it through like this. The rest is going to follow. Look at this. Now I'm inside under the driver's seat. You see I kind of screwed up with the grommet. Whatever. Maybe I'll put some foam. So pull firm and slow. If you feel resistance, stop. You don't want exposed copper wire touching anywhere. This is a very hot wire. There you go. This is truly the hardest physical step. You want plenty of slack in the front because you're going to cut into it, add the breaker. And then you can mount that somewhere. I just honestly lay it somewhere. Here's some heat-resistant shrouding. It came with a different kit in the past. This is a tight fit. It should be a little looser, but I was able to snake it through. I don't know. I've had cars in the past where I don't use this. Nothing ever bursted on fire. So, but this is just an extra step. Give it a cleaner look and a little extra heat protection. But I'm not putting over anything heated. This stuff is really malleable. It's not going to break. Cut it. There's step one. Congratulations. By far the hardest physical step. It can all be fun and gravy after this, guys. Let's get this little puppy off so we can guide it through. Here's a plastic chisel. You could buy a plastic. I have it somewhere. I'm too lazy to find it right now. There's professional plastic popper kits. That's fine. Just get the thing off. Route that. I'm going to affix it more to the firewall so it's not hitting anything. And then you're just going to run it through. Try to fish it through here. Let's see. I'm in the rear passenger seat behind the driver. Slide under, pull up. It didn't fish like I wanted it to, but I could see it. So it started curving upward. That's funny. It doesn't matter. Get it. One of these little plastic dealies is going to pop out. You don't need all of them back in. If you can get them back in, fine. Well, at least it went through. So find it. Pull it through. One more step to get to the trunk. You're going to pull that left seat down. There you go. Look at that. Find a spot that it can safely go through. Avoid any hinges or pinching, and it's going to be fine. Stuff has got a lot of shrouding around it. Make sure you don't feel any resistance as you push it back. Clean your back seats if they're dirty like mine. I got this from the desert, by the way. There's your power. I'm not going to mess around with any connecting the power. Disconnect your battery. You should have done this first. So disconnect the negative terminal first. Now the positive's not going to have any ground, but keep your hand on the rubber grip. Use your right hand if you can, and remove the positive. Yeah, like I said, you should have done this first. Whoops. As long as you don't touch the copper wire and the amplifier in the back before this step, you're fine. Twist and pull, make sure that's away and not going to magically snake its way back. If you made it this far to where you got your power wire in the back, your ground is set up, you get your amplifier, sub. That's a 10-incher. That's a shallow mount. That really kicks. And Camry trunks are ginormous, so I don't need a shallow mount, but that's what I got. There's your plus 12 volt over there for the positive. The ground goes to GND, to the left on this particular model. And kind of twist the end after you've made your cut. Small Phillips screwdriver. Push in as you're tightening. Make sure it's firm. You don't want to overdo it because you can screw right through all of it. You don't want any copper bleeding over to the next section. So here's your cut. I need a bigger, electrical wire cutter, but that's fine. There's the power. Remember, it's not connected to the battery terminal, so we're fine. Here's it snug. Nothing's bleeding over. The remote wire is fairly thin, so we're good here. Probably too much copper exposed there. There's your red and white, your right and left. You can reverse those. It doesn't matter as long as they're reversed between the amp and the... You need this for this particular project. This is your signal to RC converter, RCA adapter. There's the model. 2 wires are ground, 2 wires are negative, 2 wires are positive. And you just have to tap into one speaker. So there you go, I'm pushing that. And that connects the amplifier left and right. You're going to fix that. I use double-sided 3M like adhesive to stick it to somewhere in the trunk, behind the rear passenger seat. There's your speaker wire. Measure out your speaker wire, positive and negative, but this is not an active line, so again, you can positive and negative, you pick. Usually positive has the white stripe. Cut off an end, twist. There's your white stripe one. I'll make that one positive. As long as that goes to like the positive part of the subwoofer there. It's got to be the same between the amp and the sub. So there's red. Oh, and I actually did... Oh yeah, red does have the white stripe. Red is usually positive, black's negative. Again, doesn't matter as long as it's consistent. If you ever want to change out the sub, look how easy. 2 wires to pull out. Because I'm definitely going to get a bigger sub for this big Camry trunk. But this thing really, really kicks. It kicks harder than a bigger box, so... Do the other side now. The one that goes to the amplifier. Do a better job than this, if you can. On this amp, the left 2 are positive and the right 2 are negative, so I got 1 positive, 1 negative. Stick it in. Remember, this doesn't contain power, this is a signal, so that's why the wire is so small. If any of these ever fall out, redo them. Find the ground now. You have to find a spot. I tried through here, in the rear right passenger area. It didn't work. The hole wasn't big. There wasn't an area. So now look, I look down here, and look, it's like a pre-threaded. I found a random bolt sitting around because I've got 100 of them. I used a Dremel tool at the end of my drill because I couldn't find the actual Dremel tool. Shave off all the metal, sand, and shave off down to the bare metal. I made a little hole there. That tightened down pretty perfectly. It was almost like a pre-threaded thing that Toyota cared about. Back at the engine bay, I'm cutting the power wire. Is it scary? No, because it's not connected to anything. Affix it to the breaker there. I actually should have used a little more in the front end. You see there, that front end's a little short, but here you go. This Toyota Camry came with this top. Usually a lot of them do. If not, you could buy another adapter. It's connected there at the top, the power wire to the amp. I used a glove, put it on. Um, Nothing's sparking though, as you can see, because why? Because the negative's not connected. Now it's going to spark, and it's going to give me a heart attack because the car alarm went off. Now you need to connect the signal. There's a signal wire that goes between connections in your car back to turn on your amplifier, because you don't want your amplifier draining your car battery. Obviously, your car battery will die in 20 minutes. I use SIG and P outlet 15A. That's a good one because that outlet is only on when the car is turned on. It's blue, the top right 15 there. Get a needle nose, pull it out. The copper wire goes to the left side because that's the one that only is on. That's the one that's protected by the fuse. Left side. Fit the remote turn-on wire to the left side of that fuse. If you put it to the right, it's going to be constant, and if your fuse blows out, you're still going to get wire. It's just a fail-safe, so put it to the left side. That way, if the fuse is blown, you're not going to get power to the amplifier, and everything's safe. So there it is. It's almost a two-man job. Fish it in there. Push in. Now, here's your remote wire. Run this through. I already pushed everything back in, but this wire is so thin, you can actually shove it under with your fingers. Now we're back into the trunk with the remote turn on. There it is. Make sure that doesn't touch any of the other copper. There's your multimeter. I set it to this setting, and you need to figure out which of these two speaker wires is sending positive to the speaker and which one's returning. It's not a current. It's just a send and return. You're not going to get shocked or anything. But now mine has rear deck speakers, so I can do it this way. A lot of them are in the door panels in the back seat. It's a little more work to pop those panels off. AC volt, which is your positive. That's in the front one, and 0.1. It's kind of going up. 0.8, 0.9. Yeah, it's attached to the rear, and yeah, it's pretty low. 0.04, 0.03. You see, it's not changing. The pluses and negatives, the sends and returns of the audio. That tells me that the rear wire is quote-unquote negative and the front's positive. So I marked these off, positive and negative. Two of them go to the front. Two will go to the negative, and then I'm going to put the ground there. I'm just going to make a hole. Take off. This one came pre-cut. It's from Pack Audio. I think I got it from sonicelectronics.com. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, here's this kit from Amazon. You push it in, crimp it. Now that this tool can do. You crimp it. I labeled them with a marker, positive and negative there. 2 in the positive, 2 in the negative. And there's your 2 neutrals. That's just going to go behind a bare metal bolt somewhere. There's your connectors up there that I didn't show, and Henry's coming to join the party. Hello, Henry. There's your 3M double-sided adhesive. I'll probably use 2 of those. Your signal to RCA adapter. You want to put that on sticky stuff on the back so it doesn't tug on the wires. There you go. It's going to sag because of the extra weight up there. It's not going to hurt the wire. If it does, you just replace the wire. Speaker wire, guys. You can also use, like I said, these pillars. You can also get a harness up in the factory stereo so you don't have to use this. You don't have to buy those either. You can solder this. You can use tape and twist. I've done all of it. There's your brown neutral that you need to be grounded. I got a bunch of washers. There's a bit that goes through metal. I found another random screw. Guys, this is amateur hour. Actually, this took many hours, but find a hole. There you go. Scrape it down. As long as you got some bare metal, you do a better job than that, but it works for me, so that's not a power section. Again, if the rights and lefts are messed up and they don't work, whether it's up there or down here, all you have to do is reverse one or both. There's the settings on this particular RE audio. Gain, bass, low pass phase. There's a 180 phase in case you hooked it up wrong. If you're too lazy to plug and unplug, if your woofer's downfiring like I had and you want your woofer going up, especially with a sealed cab, that remote goes to the driver's seat. The RE came with it. A lot of them don't, but the RE amp came with it. You can max and lower your bass from the front.